Good morning to all of you.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning,
Yeah,
sir.
good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, madam. Good morning.
Good morning,
Good morning,
sir.
sir. Good morning. Very good morning, sir.
Sir, good morning, sir.
sir.
Good morning. Sir, actually, I must say thanks to the UGC-HRDC Center, University of Mysore, especially to Nanjudu Swami, sir, because they have given the opportunity to speak with our geographers. As you know, nowadays we are facing a lot of the disasters. Maybe it is a natural disaster or man-made disaster because of overflowing population. Not only the whole world, but it is the maximum what we are facing, the growth of population in our country only. So this is the, I hope that this is the best opportunity to speak regarding disasters, mitigate and so as you know that how to mitigate and monitor the disasters. So then as we know that being a geographers or other like environmental science and geology, I hope that all the faculties you are participating for this short-term course on disasters. So but nowadays we are using the applications like GIS and remote sensing techniques, especially for the monitoring and mitigating disasters. So it's a very difficult earlier. The people used to, when they will get the natural disaster like cyclone or whatever the flood, then even the landslides which are there. So usually what we are getting, especially in the hilly areas or low-lying areas, the people used to face a lot of problems earlier. Nowadays, due to the science and technological development and softwares which we are getting like ArcGIS, ERDAS, so many GIS are there, the systems are there. I will tell you in the later, these applications will help to monitor as well as the mitigating disasters. So we cannot move to the opposite to the nature, because nature is a act like a, because we are not, as you know that we are not owners of the nature, we are custodians of the nature. So the nature, what it will act, we have to accept it. Otherwise, it is very difficult. As being a geographers, I hope that you may be knowing deterministic school of thought and possibilism school of thought. The deterministic means we cannot change the nature. So the possibilism means we can change, we suppose in the smaller area. So, but here in the disaster, it's very difficult to monitor. Monitor, we can do it nowadays because in the present era, we have developed so many the techniques, especially GIS, remote sensing and all. Through these techniques, we can monitor, but completely we cannot mitigate. So mitigation is very much difficult, but for the short, even though the so many people they will get or they will lose their life and property, especially in the coastal area or in the hilly areas where landslide will happen. But at least we are, with the help of GIS, we can mitigate it. We can minimize the effect of the problems. So the people, those who are getting in some areas, normally they used to get day and night or even though the earth is also not a static, it is a dynamic in nature. It will happen. Earthquake will happen, even though the volcanic eruption will come. These are the changes over the surface due to the sudden changes or slow changes. It will happen. But only thing is, we must take some monitoring. So because government, they used to take much of the interest, or they are spending a lot of money to monitor these disasters. But in fact, the man-made disaster also, it is included in the compared to the natural disaster. So man-made disaster means we are constructing skyscraper buildings without putting a lot of the effective foundations and all. In that way, also we are the completely, we used to have this type of disasters. So in fact, the disasters plays very important role, but in fact that at least we can minimize it. We can minimize the effect of the disaster, even though it is a one which is there in the when we will monitor, we must take the precautions. Nowadays, the growth of population will affect then other activities of the human or anthropogenic activities. So it will also affect the most of the areas. Then especially some countries, those who are the countries which are lying, locating in the low-lying area only. Frequently, if you go to the Bangladesh and all, so nearly 90% of area which is there underwater in the monsoon, or especially the southwest monsoon and northeast monsoon. Just I will share this one. Now you see that there is a lot of the disasters are there. So disasters, in fact, we'll discuss later. Now we must say that we must think about the hazards. How hazards are what we used to get, the source of harm or adverse effect that may cause damage to the people, property, the environment, or the whole society. So hazards means like that only, because it will harm immediately. Immediate, because people were not aware when hazards will come. So it's a very difficult to know the monitoring the hazards, because only the high areas or hilly areas, the people used to be aware when disaster comes. If there is a more rainfall, disaster will be there. If there is a less rainfall also, some areas will get the disaster because of lack of water, or water scarcity will be there. So this one, you see that it will cause the damage to the people and property, especially the environment or the whole society. So hazards can be natural, such as earthquake. These are all common. Floods, then sometimes the hurricanes, human-made or anthropogenic activities, including the industrial accident will be there, the technological failure. So like, as you know that nowadays we are constructing the big dam, even though the some construction of road also, somewhere there will be landslide, and also it will be the social and political conflict also will be there on the this, especially for the hazards. Yes, essentially hazards are conditions or event with the potential to threaten and adversely impact on the well-being individuals and their surroundings. So once if we get the hazards, then definitely people used to have the psychological effect also. So if you go there, then you will come to know, you just ask what it will happen, then how effects are there. Now recently there was in the Uttarakhand, there was a disaster. That is a man-made disaster, but landslide is there. So like that, if you ask the people, those who are getting affected, then you will come to know what psychological problems they will face. So these are sudden hazards will be there. So many people, they will get affected. So like that, you see in everywhere, because the human nature is like that only. If we get sudden effect, then definitely will be the disturbed psychologically. So in fact, these are the hazards what I told you. Now come to the disasters. On the other hand, the actual occurrence of hazardous event that leads to significant and widespread destructions, disruption and distress. It results in negative impact on affected community, often overwhelming its ability to cope with the consequences. Because normally when we'll get disaster, the people will get more affected. So many days they will take to recover from that shock. So this is the kind of disaster, because natural man-made means at least people used to know. So if it may happen something, but the natural means suddenly it will come. So this is the fact. So for example, an earthquake can be considered as hazard due to its potential to cause ground shaking, sudden shaking and all. Even though if you sleep nicely, then if somebody will shake the cot, then what it will happen? Sudden shock will be there. When the earthquake occurs and causes extensive damage to the buildings, the infrastructure, and lead to loss of property or life, it becomes a disaster. So you see that these are the pictures which I can show you how that at least you think about what affects the people, those who are living in this building. Then after that, you see that this is the second, after disaster, the people evacuated. It means that they are helping the NGOs or some people, even though, because all we are the humankind, if one person will get harmed, definitely we used to feel very bad. So if you see that the many people, if they get in the certain areas, hundreds, 2,000 or up to 1 lakh people, if they get, then definitely the people will get more affect. The other people, they will show the courtesy or sympathy. At least they will help. So at least they will mitigate the effects of what normally they used to get the problem. So here there are classification of disasters I want to tell you. The natural disaster, some human influence due to that also what we used to get the disasters. The mixed natural or human influence due to that also will get so many disasters. Some natural influence also what we used to get. Then in the last one, the anthropogenic activities due to that also what we are getting the disasters. Now come to the natural disasters, earthquake. Because in the initial only, in the beginning I told you, the earthquake will happen in every seconds over the surface because earth is not a static. The earth is a dynamic in nature. It will change. You see that if you go through the, when earth was originated, that nature itself shows that it is not a constant. So it is rotating from west to east at the speed of nearly 27.7 kilometers per second. Then earth, you see that the layers are also, they are not constant. Suppose the above layer, what we used to get the effect, then the below layer, that is a crust, mantle, core, inner core and all. If you see the nature, because when the volcanic eruption will come or volcanoes will come, then definitely followed by the earthquake, because it will fill the gap of the volcanic eruption, whatever the materials it used to be ejected from inside the earth, then definitely that particular area or somewhere not nearby that, where epicenter is there also it may not affect, but some other areas nearby that, then we'll get the earthquake. So due to earthquake, the maximum loss of life and property will be there, because earthquake is a most dangerous hazards, because naturally it will come. It's very difficult to imagine when it will come. So many methods to mitigate also, that one definitely will think of in the later. Now then the earthquake is a very important natural hazard. Then our disasters. Next one, tsunami. Tsunami plays very important role, because after 2006 only we came to know what is tsunami. Earlier we were not aware the tsunami regarding that, what effects are there. Mostly the people, especially the surrounded or the circumferences of Pacific Ocean, they will get more effect, because it's a deep sea and vast sea is there, that is the Pacific Ocean. So that's why the maximum tsunami it will affect to, especially the areas which are there, the circumferences of the Pacific Ocean. Then like Japan and some countries which are there adjoining, so they used to get. So that's why tsunami also plays very important role in the disasters. But one thing I mean it will not play the important role, but in the sense the tsunami also is a affects a lot of people, and they will get a loss of life and property if they once they get. So only small wave will not come. Up to 50 to 60 meters height, the wave will come. So for that, what we have, the monitoring, the tsunami also, the device what we have invented, that also I will show you later. Now, what is the volcanic eruption and all? So you see that, as you know, the active volcanoes, dormant volcanoes and extinct volcanoes. Because active volcano means anytime it can be erupt. So it may be in the form of ash, in the form of lava, or it may come the solid particles. So these are all our water also, the volcanic eruption. So this one sudden now, some places in India also, in the Mandi district of Himachal Pradesh, even though if you go to the Andaman Nicobar Island, some active volcanoes, very few active volcanoes what we have. Even though here in the Beltangadi also, once upon a time it was an active volcano, the water is also coming, the hot water, what we call the geysers. So if it comes the volcanic eruption, definitely surrounding people, they will get more effect. Then you can see that in the geographical channel and all, sometimes they will show in the Thursday normally in the evening time, the people they used to take their belongings, especially like goat, sheep, then other animals, domestic animals, they will take and they will run. When beyond that, suppose the another 2 kilometers, the lava is flowing, then that also get more effects. It means people used to run along with their belongings, the village people. So such type of condition is there. This is also one of the most important disaster. Now, after that, the snowstorm or avalanche. as you know that this is a very common in Himalaya, even though the upper areas are, you can say, the Rockies Mountains, the Andes Mountains, then Atlas Mountains also they used to get, but maximum we used to find in the Himalayan area, because Himalaya is a young fold mountain. Normally it is a growing, as you know, the young means still the growth is there, or growing it is called. So that's why the snowstorm will be there, especially northwestern part of the country, in our India only. The when the snowstorm will come, then people definitely they will get much effect. In some part of China also it happens. Then in the if you go through the European country, there also the snowstorm, avalanche, this type of the disasters will happen in some other areas where the snowfall is continuous, snowfall will be there. So such areas. Then the glacial lake also, sometime it will be outburst, what we got in the Uttarakhand, because after accumulation of glace, this ice or the snow, then after that it will move, then it will outburst will be there. This is also comes under the disasters, the natural disaster. Then lightning and all, it is a very common. The light of the speed, it is a very fast than the sound. So first we'll get the light when pre-monsoon will be there. That time also some people in the, especially in the North Karnataka or the plain areas, especially that area will get more effect. Every year, some people they used to die due to the lightning condition. So then after that the wind storm and all. Sometimes the huge wind storms. As you know, in some areas, if you go through some part like the northwestern part of India, the wind storm is there. Like as you know, the Lu is there. Lu is a hot and chilly wind which blows. That also it comes the natural disasters. So due to this also, the people used to get more effect. Then this is also one of the most important disaster. So then the thunderstorms and all. When the rain, as you know, the rainfall and precipitation. Rain means only drops of water. The thunderstorm means it comes the precipitation. So when the rain comes, because as you know that in the being a geographers, you might be know how the snowfall will occur, then thunderstorms will occur. So thunderstorms, normally the areas which are there, suppose troposphere, stratosphere, there will be very minus temperature will be there. So that's why when it passes the water content, the drops, it will become the thunderstorms and the snowfall. Then it put together, the thunderstorms will be more in the sometime in the mid-latitude countries. So these are also comes under the disasters. Then the hailstorms, tornado. So tornado normally it will be there in the mid-latitude countries. In America, the vast area is there. So in their areas, in that particularly the tornado, the hailstorms will be there. Cyclones, especially what we got now recently, in the east coast of India. Every year, particularly in the November, December, we used to get the maximum problems what we used to get, especially due to the cyclone, the tropical cyclone and all. Anticyclones which are there in the mid-latitude countries, the people used to get more effect compared to us. So because they used to be ready, it means they will take more precautions, even though they will get sometime the hurricanes and all, the house and all, they will lift, they will take away, even though vehicles, some people also, they will be in the air, the sharp materials, when it will bring, so many people will get affect. Then the asteroids impact and all, it's a very rare when asteroids will come from the outer part of the space, then when it will reach to the earth, by that time, because the atmosphere also it is surrounded by the earth. So when it is surrounded by the earth, the atmosphere, troposphere, stratosphere, the mesosphere, ionosphere, exosphere, this layer also it will rotate along with the earth. So that's why sometimes asteroids, when it will come into the atmosphere of the earth, it will burn. So somewhere it will fall, it will go somewhere. So like that, this is also the natural disaster. Definitely, it is. We must know that what are the asteroids, because so many big particles which are surrounded by the earth are in the our Milky Way galaxy. So sometime one or two it may come the asteroids. Then sometime it will merge when it will reach to the atmosphere of the Earth. So aurora borealis also. I hope that this is also very important, aurora borealis, but it is not much effect, especially it is a upper atmosphere. It used to be flow like jet stream and all. Aurora borealis and one more is there. There are two borealis are there. So then this also it comes under the natural disaster. Then we must move to the some human influence and all. You see that normally development means there will be we are moving against to the nature. So when we wanted to construct a road, then definitely we have to make so many work. So if there is a terrain is there, we have to make level or we have to construct a bridge. Then definitely there is a lot of the effects will be there. Then definitely we have to move against to the nature. It's the one which is there flood and all. You see, the most of the areas which they used to get flood, especially in the low-lying areas. If that a human nature itself is there, is that's why the flood and all the low areas which are there, especially you see that when some part of the low area, as you know, the plain area is more in India, more than 50%, especially Indus, Ganga, Brahmaputra plain areas. Then the low-lying areas, especially the eastern, all the rivers which are flowing, many rivers which flowing towards the east. In that particular area, you see that when rain comes more, then definitely we used to get more flood. Then low-lying people, even though how much you will give awareness to the people in India, but they will not leave that place. There will be some sentiment will be there. They don't want to leave that particular area. So that's why flood is the most important. There's some human influence, what we created, even though we are not able to construct a dam, then it is very difficult, even though we have so many the dams are there, very multi-purpose river valley projects are there. That is 33%. When it will move, then that is as a flood. Remaining 33%, it will fill the underground aquifers through the pores over the surface of the earth. Then another 33% it will evaporate. This is the procedure when we'll get the 100 units of rainfall. So all if you divide into 3, then definitely 33.33% evaporation. Then that amount of water will fill the aquifers. Then remaining it will evaporate. So this is the procedure. So but yeah, if we construct a skyscraper building, then even though the local development will take place, we are constructing the roads definitely. Then that way we are using concrete, concretization. So many areas we need only our comfortability, but we are not thinking about the nature, what it will affect, how it will react for us, how it will be effect to the human nature, human people, or you can say the living things. That and all we are not thinking. So next one, dust storms and all. So you see that in some areas which are there in the northwestern part of the country, then central part of the country, dust storm also it will be accumulated, because normally if you go to the mining areas like especially Hospet, Ballari, Toranagal and all, you will come to know dust storms will be there. It is also comes under the disaster. They will get fever or some infection, because they have to they are getting the air. When they will breathe, then definitely they will get the problems. So that's why the dust storm also it comes, because human influence. Due to that, we are getting the disaster. Next is a drought. The drought normally every 10 to 12 years we'll get one severe drought. Now this year also we got drought. So see that when it will be very dry areas, suppose some areas if there is no rainfall, sometime we will get more rainfall also. So but when we will get very low rainfall, then drought occurs. Some people they will get more effect on this. From this is also comes under the the human influence due to that drought, because we are not planting the trees, we are not thinking about the environment. So if we plant a number of trees, then definitely it will give more use for us only, that and all we are not thinking. Now the mixed natural or human influence, like landslide and all, you see that everywhere the government is to develop, especially the hilly areas, especially upper areas. Then all the cities and all, what we have, the smart cities or other development and all, what the city corporation, each and every people, they used to think about the development. So in that way, the landslide will be occurs, especially little bit upper area if it is there. Then because the layers, sometime there will be weak layers will be there, then landslide will be occurs, because earth is not a static, I told you, it's a dynamic in nature. Then the subsidence, this also landslide subsidence, it comes under the same, the especially Himalaya and all, because still Himalaya is growing, it's a growth is there, due to that landslide will be there, subsistence, the folding and faulting will be there. So due to that also, what we used to get, it also comes under the both natural and human influence, because we are thinking to develop. So because if you go through the 1900, last 120 years back, the maximum area was covered with the forest area. Then people were very less amount of density of population was there. Now it crossed over the earth more than 800 crores of population. Out of that, we are nearly 130 to 40 crores of population what we have in India. Then if you take into the China and all, they have more than 2.5 times bigger than India, but the population slightly, I hope that, because still we are waiting for the census, 2021 census. So maybe some technical issues they are not conducting. Then after that, even when we will get the report, definitely we hope that India is, it will be number one. So this is the big problem. So what it will happen, because nowadays we are not getting much output from the agriculture. That way, the another disaster also it may arise, because people are more hungry, they are not getting job. That is also, these are all the what normally we used to put, because when we born, nothing we brought from the, when we born, nothing we brought. When we'll die, nothing will take away from the nature. In between, but earth, what we are using, earth is a mother for all. So mother earth will provide from pin to aeroplane, all the resources what we are getting from the nature. When we'll get from the nature, then we are not thinking about the nature. So this is the big problem. So another one, the erosion. As you know that erosion takes place in the upper areas, then normally the soil will be eroded to the lower area. Then this also creates the hazard or disaster. So this is the man-made, not man-made, partially we can say that we are not taking precaution for the erosion and all. Then the desertification also will be there. So most of the areas are, you know, some areas it is not fit for cultivation. So that also it comes under the human influence. Then the coal fires and all, it will happen, especially in the Arunachal Pradesh and all. That also comes under the disaster. Coastal erosion also it takes, especially the southwest monsoon and all, it will hit to the coast and the maximum erosion takes place. In the Mangalore also there is a one Bengre area is there. The two rivers will meet like Netravati and Gurupura. There Bengre, that is a small island is there. People used to live, they have made one house also, but they don't want to leave that place because sentiment is there. They born and brought up in that particular area. When the sea waves will hit near their house, then definitely I hope that they will get sleep. So that's why they are not thinking about the effects what they will get later on. Then finally they will blame to the government. When they will get, then government has to give some the compensation and all. So each year, even the government is to tell, don't be there, you have to, we are providing some place, means also they don't want to leave that place. Such people are there in India. There will be more curiosity for the Indians, they don't want to leave that particular area. So these are also comes under the due to the natural influence and all. Then the greenhouse also. The greenhouse gases and all, you see. We are not thinking now, even though once I went to the Germany. They are not using the air condition, micro oven, then the fan also. That much they are thinking about the future generation. But in our country, each and everyone we born, then our children born, then definitely when they will be grown up, definitely will go for the marriage. Then all the items we used to purchase. So this type, you see that we are increasing the chlorofluorocarbon, carbon dioxide, so many the gases what we are producing, definitely it will affect more. This also comes under the disasters. Then the sea level rise and all. You know, you see that every year little temperature is increasing due to the anthropogenic activities. Then the other activities, if you take it, what we are thinking about the development work, what we are undertaking, that also due to that the sun rays, whatever the rays are reaching there, then when it will reflect, you know, the long waves radiation, short waves radiation. So due to that, there is a little increasing temperature. If you see that, I hope that United Nations organization, they have declared 2023 is the hottest year because they got maximum temperature. So what it will happen during 2024, we don't know. So these are all comes under the human influence. There's some natural influence are also there because of this you see that crop disease and all. Before harvesting, the many crops they used to get disease. If you use the insecticides, pesticides, this is also the big problem will be there. The side effects will be there. After having food and all contaminated, what we call, it may not help for the protein and all what we are not getting for our body. So this crop disease also, it is one of the, it comes under the disaster only. The insect infestation, I hope that you might be know that in the Kasaragod area and all, the indosulfan victims are there. Now children, those who born, they don't have hand, they don't have this or leg and all. Some you see that we are creating the problem. So it means insect infestation, forest fire, mangrove, as you know, forest fire and all, it happens. That also I will show you in the slide. Mangrove decline and all. Mangroves, I hope that it is a what we call, it is where the fresh water and sea water will mix. That particular area used to have the mangroves. Though that decline also is there. Very good mangrove biodiversity, which is there in the Mangalore also. The whole Karnataka coast also, what we have the mangroves. So that also it is a declining due to the disasters. Then the coral reefs declining. This also, it is a coral reefs which are there in the Lakshadweep island. That also, some islands, slowly it is submerging inside the sea. Then after that, the acid rain and all. You see that what incoming solar radiation and outgoing solar radiation, how we are getting the acid rain. So because of anthropogenic activities, you see that if you go to the RTO office in any place, how many vehicles will be registered in one day? If you take into 1 week, 1 month, 1 year, 10 years, how many vehicles will be added? Because the banks, they are providing the loan. Each and everyone, we need a vehicle, our own vehicle. That is everybody's dream will be there. But indirectly, we are increasing the pollution. So due to that also, acid rain will be there. In fact, recently it was happened in the North India also, acid rain and all. Then the ozone depletion. Earlier, the American, they used to blame to India because over India, the ozone layer is breaking. But in fact, because they don't want to develop India, the India must be like that only. So that's why they blamed. But in fact, real over the North Pole, ozone layer is breaking. So what but for that we can take some precautions. If we take precautions, then definitely it will be helpful for the in the future. So then ozone depletion also, it is one of the disaster. Then due to the human, you see that armed conflicts will be there, the war and all, the First World War, Second World War. Then recently what Ukraine and Russia, they started war. Then in the Arab countries also, you just see that some areas in the Middle East country, they started. So these are all armed conflicts also. There will be a lot of problems which they got it. Then life and property, they got loss, especially due to this is the human disasters. So landmines, you see that where the mining activity, because we have to take it, even though before 1947, whatever the resources we were having in India, nearly 50% it went out. Because as you know, the Britishers, they have ruled our country nearly 200 years. Before that, some colonial or some kings and all, they have ruled it. But almost 50% it over. Then before 1947, after that, nearly 75 years, we have finished another 25%. Now, hardly we have less than 20-25% the mining are the minerals. It is a leftover. It's very difficult. After 20 years, we have to depend on other countries. So when we will get mining, or you can say the minerals from the earth, definitely we are not getting the pure form. We have to make it. So in the form of ore we are getting, then definitely that particular area will get the disaster. Landslide may happen. Even though sometimes, you know, the KGF also. So poisonous gases only, it used to come because, you know, it's a second deepest mining over the earth. First, it is there in the South Africa. So then the major air, sea, land, traffic accidents will happen. Nuclear and chemical accident will be there. Oil spills are there. That also I will show. Water, soil, air pollution, which are taking place. The groundwater pollution will be taken. So it will be, it is also comes under the disaster. Electrical power, breakdown, pesticides, due to pesticides also, many more, which I told you, the endosulfan victims in Kasaragod district. So like that, so many areas are there, but people, what that problem, they will not show to the public. So this also comes under the disasters. Now, this is the classifying natural hazards by disaster type. These are all just the highlight. I will do it. I will tell you. Where? Yeah, this one. You see that the geophysical disasters, hazards. The EMDAT classifies disasters according to the type of hazards that it provokes them. In addition to EM, that collects the data on technological disasters such as industrial, miscellaneous, and transport accident. This report focuses on geophysical, hydrological, meteorological, and climatical disasters. So you see, definitely if you go to the www.emdat.be bar new dash classification, then you will come to know what is a geophysical, like earthquake, mass movement, maybe dry, the volcanic activities. It comes under the geophysical. Hydrological, normally what we used to get the flood, landslides, wave action, that is a high waves or the wind waves which are there. Then the meteorological, normally we used to get the storm, extreme temperature, fog and all. Climatological, like drought, glacial lake, outburst, wildfire. Then the biological, animal accident, epidemic, insect infestation, then the extraterritorial impact, space, weather also. This, so you see that this is according to the natural hazards by disaster type. So now disaster death toll per decade, especially weather related disasters. Then you see that total deaths which are occurred during 1900, it was very less because people, our population deaths were 1.5 million. So then during 1910, it was reduced. Some precautions they have taken, but again after 1920 and all, it increased the death toll, especially in India. Then after in the 1930, you see that little it is reduced. So after that, you see it is a slowing down. It means decreasing trend of death in millions. You see that according to 2020 and all, the death in million just it's a very less. Why? Because due to the science and technology, due to the remote sensing and GIS techniques, we are finding or we are taking precautions. Then people are getting awareness. If we are settling in that particular area, then definitely we used to get problems. So that's why people are getting some awareness to evacuate from that particular area. So here you see that the indicates 96% decrease in mortality between 1920 with 4.84 million deaths, and that decades 2010-2020 when mortality was limited to 0.17 million. So it is a decreasing trend. So due to what we can say, the government also, they are taking initiative, natural disaster monitoring, disaster and all, what we have, the ministry also, so they are looking after, they are taking some precautions. People they are sending they are giving in the newspaper. People used to get more awareness to leave that, especially some areas which they used to get maximum disasters. So occurrence disasters, you see that in America during 2022, these are all the numbers of disasters by continent and top 10 countries in 2022. So America, nearly, you see that it was happened, the disaster nearly 118. Out of that, in the whole America, if you take it, United States got 26 disasters. The Venezuela got only 8 disasters. Colombia got 14 disasters. Then the Brazil also in the South America, you see that around 12 disasters what they got. Now in the Asia, maximum disasters we got it around 137. Europe only 43. Africa 79. Then Oceania, including Australia, they got only 10. Now out of that, you see that the Afghanistan, they got 8 disasters, China 12 disasters, Thailand 11 disasters, the Vietnam 8 disasters, Philippines they got 12 disasters, then Indonesia around 20 disasters. You see that if you go through being a geographer, you just go through the map of the world, which are those areas are high risk area of disaster, low risk area of disaster. As you know that in the recent what we were expected during 2012, the huge the whole earth, it will go down, or whatever the earth layer, the crust will go down, the mantle will come up. We were expected during 2012. So but for that also they made one film. Finally they told that which is the safest place. Then they have mentioned that the hardest plateau is there in South India. As you know that the peninsular India is the hardest plateau. All 7 plateau, if you compare, it is one of the hardest one. So other areas, it is a very soft, the mild. Even though if you go to European country, so many countries, they are not constructing more than 5-story building. Very rare. So because the surface is not much hard. So that's why it may create the disaster later on. So that's why you see that in Asia itself, we got 137 the disasters, except the India. Only cyclones we may get, cyclones due to that also. Then some landslide in the Himalaya area, that's all. So later on, you see that an average 370 from 2002 to 2021 occurrence by disaster type, the compared to the 2002 to 2021. So in this is the average 370. So in 2022, it happened nearly 387. The drought due to that, the maximum nearly 22 people, 22 average, they got the disasters, drought due to that, earthquake, extreme temperature, flood, then the landslide, mass movement 0, then the storms 108, then this volcanic activities 5, wildfire 50. In 2002 to 2021, average 16, 27, 19, 168, 18, 1, 104, 6, 11. So this was the average. So extreme temperature also it will affect more. Then earthquake also it happens. So these are the occurrence of disasters, the average, and in 2022 also. Now human impact told deaths will be that total death. Share of death by continent in 2022. So you see that in America, the 5.4%, 21.6%. So these are all the people they have, the death occurs in these areas in the continent, in America. Then in the European country also, 16,394. nearly 12.77%. Then here in Asia, 7,574 people died, or death was there. In Asia, 24.7 out of total 100. So 61.8% what we got in the Asian continent. In the Oceania, 0.1%, hardly 43% they died. So death, total death was happened due to the human impact of disasters. So this one, you see that this is the average in 2002 to 2021, 60,955. It was the average, the death. But in 2022, 30,704. This why it happens. It's a very important, because top 10 country mortality rate also what we have given here. So the heat waves due to that in the European country, they used to die so many people, more than 16,000 people. Uganda, 2,465 people due to drought. India, flood, 2,035. Pakistan due to flood, so 1,739 people. Afghanistan, in the earthquake, due to that also, what we got 1,036 death was occurred. Then Nigeria also, they got a much more effect. The South Africa, then Philippines, like that, Indonesia, earthquake, flood. This is the tropical storm also, you see that in the Philippines and all. You see, this, the table, if you go thoroughly, then how it occurs now, extreme temperature only, the maximum death will be occurring. Why it is occurring? During 2022 only. You just go through it. The earthquake, here you see that in the 20 years average, 2002 to 2021, around 35,124. You see that all those, by seeing this one, definitely the human impact or the human nature are what we are moving against to the nature. That is a bigger problem. We are not thinking, even though in America up to 5th standard for the children or kids, they don't have particular syllabus. Only thing is they will teach how to behave with the people, how to behave with the elders. Then at least the manners they will learn. Then climate or environmental effects also they will teach up to 5th standard. After that, they will have syllabus. In our country, in the LKG, UKG, even the babysitting also, they will teach some syllabus is there. Then this affects, you see that people, even all the many universities in India, in Karnataka also, very less amount of the students intake is there. It means nobody wants to study the environmental studies and all. It is a less number of people it is attracting. So that's why these are all, at least we must know that compulsory paper must be there for the environment, how to protect what it is going to be. It will give what we are giving to the nature, the earth, regarding that whole earth. Because I told you, we are not owners of the nature, we are custodians of the nature. When we born, nothing we brought. When we will die, nothing we will take from the nature or from the earth surface. So this one, you see, the most of the cases, when we teach only according to syllabus, we will teach what we are not thinking about the pollution. We are not thinking about chlorofluorocarbon, the carbon dioxide, what we are, because daily we used to, all the time we used to take breathe in, breathe out and all. Otherwise, if there is no oxygen, what it will happen, you just see that. In the future, the government definitely, they will take some tax, because we are taking air, we are breathing air naturally, that also they will spray something. Definitely those days will come in the future. Then human impact affected and share. This is just, you go through it because we don't have much time. Around 185 in 2022. Then the disasters. Then these are all happened. Share of affected continents also. Then this one, number of affected millions in disasters. Human affected only. Economic loss also. Share of economic loss by continent. You see that the US dollar 155.8 billion loss of economic loss was there due to the disaster. America 69.6%. Then the South America and all 46.6% in 2021, in the 2001 to 2020. This much, now it is this much. So this one here in the European country also, US dollar 2.2 billion they got loss. So during 2001 2020, around 20 years, 9.3% of economic loss was there. Europe just In 2021, 0.1%. It is a very meager, no problem. Here, you see that in Asia, the maximum share also after the America, 21.8%. Then within 20 years, we got only 40.5%. So if you compare here in Africa, Oceania, the density of population less is there in Africa. So that's why their economic growth also it will be very less. But in fact, 8.6 billion economic loss also there was in Africa. Then the Oceania also it was there. Then economic losses here, just go through it. In billion US dollar. Then you see 10 deadliest disasters was happened 2000 to 2010. The earthquake and tsunami, it happens in the Indian Ocean in the 2004. So how many people they died? Nearly 226,408 people. So in the Indian Ocean, I hope that how many of you are aware, because it got affected up to the coastal area, especially in Mangalore also, some waves it came, not severe waves. So due to earthquake in Indonesia, they got much effect in 2004. Then the Haiti also, you see that earthquake 2010, nearly 222,570. Storm Myanmar, you see 2008, during that year, 138,366 people died. Earthquake in China also, it happened in 2008, 87,476. Then the Pakistan also, it was, they got earthquake in 2005, 73,338 people died. Heat wave in Europe in 2003, 72,210 people died. Heat wave Russia also, they got more than in 55,000 people died in 2010. Earthquake Iran also, they got much effect in 2003, more than 26,000 people died. India in 2001 also nearly 20,000 people died due to the earthquake. Even though the drought Somalia and all, they got much more effect also, more than 20,000 people they died during 2010. Then disasters management, how to manage the disaster. This is the very important, because disaster will happen, natural or man-made, because we can't control the nature. Sometime it will happen, sometime human activity also it causes for the disasters. Now come to the disaster management, special focus on the use of geospatial techniques. The disaster management plays a pivotal role in the mitigating the impact of natural and man-made disasters on communities and the environment. So at least the people are aware. If the people will be aware, then definitely we can mitigate little, we can reduce the loss of life and property. That's way we can, but we can't control the nature. This is the fact you must remember. So geospatial techniques, which involve the use of satellite imageries and all, geographical information system, that is called GIS, and remote sensing techniques or technology have emerged as crucial tools in enhancing the efficiency and effectiveness of disaster management efforts. So because we can, I told you, we cannot control, but we can mitigate. We can we can reduce the loss of life and property. These techniques provides real-time data, spatial analysis, spatial analysis, enabling authority to assess the extent of damage, identify vulnerable areas, and plan evacuation routes with precision. So here you see that when we'll take the images, we have to make the layers and layers. Then all the time nowadays, the Google Earth also it will provide. By using those Google Earth maps and all, the aerial photograph, we have to take it, we have to make we have to find which are those low-lying areas, like a total station and all, total station monitoring and all, you know that instrument will show that what is the height of particular area. If we get definitely there will be chance to get more flood, then definitely we have to identify that one. If we identify such type of vulnerability regarding disaster and all, definitely we can take the precaution. At least now you see that the disaster management, the department, they used to give report every year, every month, how we can mitigate. what precaution can be taken, then what people should get the awareness. So, but here, the geospatial technology plays very important role. You see that last 100 years and all, there was no any development. But one thing you must remember, last 100 years back, the Germany, France, Netherlands people, they know that longitudes and latitudes, what GPS system, only name and longitude, latitude they used to write in the letter address, that is. Now, recently we got, when I studied, we were not aware about the geospatial techniques. Only the cartography was there, cadastral maps were there, topo sheets were there, then some survey materials was there, that's all. But nowadays, geography is changing in diversified world. So many techniques we are involving, GIS and all, GPS, as you know, the DGPS also is there, very important instrument. Then the total station survey materials also is there. So many methods, if we use, then definitely we can reduce the effects of the disaster. So we can monitor, or we can, at least we can minimize the effects of loss of life and property. So here, the integration of geospatial information facilities, a comprehensive understanding of disaster dynamics, allowing for the informed decision making and resource allocation, because government also, they can, allocation of the fund also will be there. Suppose our resource, you can say that such areas now frequent flood areas, like, you know, if you're Damodar Valley Corporation, DVC project. So DVC, you see that before construction of DVC, like Tilaya Dam, Methane Dam, so many dams are there, they have constructed. Because before that, the maximum that area will get, used to get more effect on flood, maximum area. So that's why the government, they planned during 1950-55, they constructed the dam, so many dams, small dams, check dams. Then they have reduced the volume of the movement of water. Then otherwise, the West Bengal and all, they used to get maximum, even though the sorrow of Bengal, you know that, Hooghly River, sorrow of Bengal. So nowadays, there is no sorrow of Bengal. So earlier it was. Now there is no, the flood and all, it will not come much compared to earlier. So that's why some precaution must be taken by using geospatial technology. Otherwise, because it's very difficult to construct or difficult to develop the country. But if it comes once, the disaster or whatever the hazards, natural hazards and all, then it is a difficult to monitor. Then because they used to spend a lot of money, that is a public money only. Then after construction, that if something goes wrong, then definitely we have to bear the loss, whatever we have put the capital for that. So moreover, geospatial techniques contribute significantly to the preparedness and risk reduction. That's only because human nature is like that only. We must be safe, but we are not thinking about the nature. We are polluting, we are creating this human influence, the disaster also, that one people should have the awareness to reduce the risk, or you can say the mitigate these the disasters and all by mapping and analyzing geospatial features such as land use pattern, changing land use pattern also. It's a very important study by using geospatial techniques. Topography also, you see that, and infrastructure, disaster management authorities can develop predictive models to anticipate potential hazards and vulnerability. So here, this proactive approach enables the implementation of preventive measures and the establishment of early warning system. As you know that tsunami early warning system also, it is there. I will show you how they will give the warning to the people, those who are get affect near the coastal area. So now over the Pacific Ocean also, they have put the floating machines. So that and all I will show you in the next slides and all. So what is a GIS? As you know that nowadays, these techniques are very popular, but most of the people, we have not, like me also, we have not studied well those days because it was not there. Nowadays, each and everywhere, the syllabus, like environmental science, geology people, geography people, basically they are using GIS course also, the program also what we have started. The GIS is information system, it is called, designed to work with the data referenced by spatial geographical coordinates. So like ISRI and all, now recently in the last month, I think in the in the November 14, we conducted GIS Day. So GIS Day, you see that the ISRI people, they are sponsored for us around 5 the softwares they have provided free of cost. We can use that one, ArcGIS and all. So here you see that ISRI, this organization is from the America, USA. This GIS is an organized collection of computer hardware, software, then geographical data and personal designed to effectively capture, store, update, manipulate, analyze and display all the forms of geographical referenced information. So this is called, according to the ISRI, what is GIS? So it means hardware also included, software, then geographical data will be there, personal design will be there, effectively the efficiently captured, store, update, these are all you see that according to the ISRI. Then USGS, United States Geological Survey. A GIS is a computer system capable of capturing, storing, analyzing and displaying geographical referenced information that is data identified according to the location. This is the definition according to the United States Geological Survey, the state USA. Then come to what are the components of GIS? You see that both are interconnected: people, method, data, software, hardware. So hardware, software, data, like that. You see that these are the now, if nobody is there, what it will happen? How will you use the method? Now people only dominate, as you know, human is only the centric, because human only, he can do anything, because most intelligent animal, what we used to refer, human population is man is a most intelligent animal over the surface, because without using these softwares and all, if there is no human being, what would happen? You see that. So hardware also must be, it is a required, software must be required, data must be required. Then how to use that method? So people must know that, that is called, these are all components of GIS and all. Now you see that here the commercial or property softwares are there. So this way, these are all commercial, proprietary, what I told you, these are all paid softwares are there, but we have to purchase these softwares. Very important. ISRI, the product include ArcView, 3X, ArcGIS, the ArcSDE, ArcIMS, and ArcWeb services and all. You just see that. Anyway, I will share this PPT to the UGC HRD Center at University of Mysore. You can get it from there. You just see that these are all paid softwares. These are the open source software. So we can get it. It is available free of cost. Most widely used upon source applications, GRASS, originally developed by the USA, Army Corps of Engineers, open source, a complete GIS. But most of us, we are not aware what are the free, because if you get it this one, the ISRI or GRAM, double plus GIS and all, so many are there, but we have to pay lakhs together, 10 lakh, 12 lakh, like that. But commercially, it will be, we can use this one. But here, for the study purpose or to make the publication for the papers, for the reputed journals, these softwares are more than enough. So GRASS and all, map server is there, Chameleon is there, GeoTools, networking, open source will be there, GVSIG, open source GIS written in Java, Ilvis is there, Ilvis, then Jump GIS, Map Windows, Open Layers, all those are available in the free of cost. So anyone can use these softwares. It is an open source softwares and all. Now come to the remote sensing. By using, suppose, by using these softwares, we can find out which are those low-lying areas, which are those high-risk areas. Then we can identify by using these softwares, even though particularly in the Himalaya. Now recently it happens in the Uttarakhand. So that is a man-made. even though they have made the tunnel collapse was there. That also we can see that how many people we are finding our own house where it is located in the Google Earth. Immediately, at least you can see your terrace, then which road and all. So that way, it is a maximum development of softwares what we have in our country nowadays. So next one, these are the remote sensing and all. You see that remote sensing is a powerful technique that involves collecting information about the Earth's surface without a direct physical contact. You see, these are the satellites. So these are the what we used to get the aerial photograph from this. Then this one, drone. Drone also we can use to get, even though in America and all, by sitting at home, the most of the farmers, they are sending their drone to look after their agriculture land, because in America and all, they have 10 acres, 20 acres, then 30 acres, like the big lands will be there. By sitting at home, they will send the drone, especially to find which are those areas are weak areas, are weak growth of plants, or agriculture is there. That everything it will send to the owner. Then they will take precaution by sitting at home only. So that type of techniques also it is there in the America. Then the Canadian Center for Remote Sensing, they have developed much more. Remote sensing is a science and are some extent are art also of acquiring information about the Earth's surface without actually being in contact with it. This is done by sensing and recording reflected or emitted energy and processing, analyzing, and applying that information. So next, NRSC is there. It's also a very important center. What we have in our country, National Remote Sensing Center. Remote Sensing Center is sensing is a technique of deriving information about object on the surface of the Earth without physically coming into contact with them. So these are all, you see, these are the satellites. Then this is the aerial photograph, how they used to take. As you know, the part of the aerial photograph and all, you know that if you go thoroughly, the topo sheet and all, you will come to know what is aerial photograph. Then this is the drone. This is the drone which will help for minute level also. That way, nowadays in Chennai, there is an agency, the government agency only. You can get the training. If you get the training for this drone pilot, the people are earning in the crores. Recently, we had one training program in Mangalore University, which I have conducted. Our department, geography of department conducted. They told that if you get this certificate, after getting this training and all, you will get a drone pilot license. If you get once, then within a year or two, definitely you will be the crorepati. That much demand is there nowadays. So in this way, you just, all geographers are allied subject, you just go through it. Definitely it will be helpful more for the future generation. Now see that remote sensing process and all. So you see that how to process. This is the sun, the long wave radiation. It will reflect and it will charge these satellites. Then all the information it will send to the receiver station. Then it is you see that these are all processed. Then we can make the layer by layer photographs. Then we can find out, or we can find the solution, this application by using, then we'll get the precautions. So energy source are illuminating. This is the A. Then radiation and atmosphere, this one, B. Then the interaction with the target, C, interaction, where it will be there. Then recording of energy by the sensor. Then transmission, reception and processing will be there. E, these are all. Then interpretation, analysis, what we used to do. Then application also. These are the applications are, this is the remote sensing data. So normally, if it is a green, it will show in the red color. But if it is a red means it will show in the green color. So use of remote sensing data in disaster mapping. So for this forecast, map and monitor hydrological hazards with a particular regards to landslides and floods, manage the risk in areas affected by forest fire, drought, coastal erosion, eruptive events or earthquakes like tsunamis and all, manage anthropogenic risk, pollution, oil spillage, etc. Promote the development of innovative technologies for prevention and mitigating of geohydrological hazards. Develop tools with the procedure for supporting risk reduction, policies and emerging management for the safety of human life. Enhance the resilience. Resilience means, I hope that you understood, disaster response preparedness, building and resilience of the mega cities and rural communities. Then promote best practice for the risk mitigation in the cultural heritage sites also. So these are the applications what we can use to monitor and mitigating disaster. Vulnerability assessment will be done. You see that the original will be here. We can, if we get, these are the satellite images, then these are the cloud also will be there. These are the mapping. Then finally, this is the original map. So when we'll assess, then definitely you will come to know by seeing these are all the low-lying area, high area. So these are the satellite images, but real is here. But people or geographers or those who are using this application and all, they must go and visit the field. They must find the ground truth, because sometimes color will reflect in the different layers. You see that it's a different layers. So that's why you see map vulnerability in the regions by integrating various data layers are there, such as population density, land use, infrastructure, and environmental factors. The remote sensing helping in the collecting high resolution imagery to identify and assess vulnerability in specific regions. So these, you see that by seeing all those layers, data layers, then we will come to know the what reflection is there. Real, color, and image color are totally different. So that's why it will help to assess vulnerability, especially mitigating the disaster, GIS and remote sensing applications. Then hazard mapping and all, how to do it. You see that these are all, by seeing this one, it is a relatively higher areas. These are the lower areas you will find. These are the lower areas. These are all moderate areas. So sometimes GIS is instrumental in creating hazard map. This is the hazard map, this one. The train data set, validation data set. So this one you see, the spatial distribution of potential disaster such as flood, earthquake, wildfire, and landslide. All those we can find out on the basis of this map. Then remote sensing provides real-time or near real-time imagery to monitor and detect changes in the environmental condition that may lead to the hazards. So then this one, early warning system and all. So this is a very important, because I hope that everyone you know that these are all early warning system like tsunami and all. This is the floating machine which they kept over the surface. Then under the sea or under the bed of the sea, so they kept the one instrument. Then it will give the warning when they will get here. It will be connected this area. Then this is you see that floating. It means the heavy metals is there. It will be constant in that particular area. Then it will send this warning system to evacuate people if they are near the coastal area, or if it is a tourist place, definitely they have to evacuate, because early warning system what we used to get. So GIS is used to design and implement early warning system that integrate data for various sources, including weather stations, sensors, remote sensing platforms. Remote sensing satellites provides timely information on weather pattern, allowing for early detection of potential disaster. So this is the early warning system. Normally over the Pacific Ocean we have kept the most of maximum it is working now. So that's why there is a mitigating. It means now people are getting less affect by using these GIS system, because early warning system and all what we have made, the sensors we have adopted, the weather stations, remote sensing platforms, each and everything. You see that the most of the cases we are getting help from these techniques. Then application GIS, remote sensing, monitoring disaster. This one you see that risk assessment. Risk assessment, how to do? GIS enables the assessment of risk by combining hazard map with information
Hello?
or vulnerability and exposure. Yes, madam.
Sir,
Shall-
it's a tea break, sir. Shall we
Oh,
take a break, sir?
Okay, madam. 11,
11:45, sir. Again, we have to join.
so your given time 12:15 again. 11?
11:45, sir.
Okay, madam. Okay, madam. Yeah.
11:45 to 1, sir. Okay.
Yes, madam. Yes, madam.
Shall we stop, sir? Or
Yes, madam. Okay. Okay.